Hey there, it's Anthony from the Beta Network, and today we're checking out 13. Let's take a look. Inspired by the Belgian graphic novel of the same name, the story follows an amnesiac man who has the Roman numeral 13 branded on his neck as he attempts to recover his memories and clear his name after the FBI accuses him of JFK-style assassinating the American president. All the while, he's looking to stop a conspiracy by a secret society-esque group who are aiming to overthrow the current government. If you're familiar with The Bourne Identity and other conspiracy thrillers, you'll be right at home. The story being told here is actually quite captivating from the get-go, slowly revealing subtle details about 13's past and his involvement in the whole affair, capping off with a very satisfying conclusion. To fully appreciate the story, I'd honestly recommend writing down the names of the characters where you can, since it'll be tricky to remember them all. As you progress, there'll be more and more characters introduced, and info revealed that'll fly right over your head if you weren't paying attention. There's a lot happening here, people. Now, when it comes to voice acting, it's pretty decent across the board. The only real lowlight of the cast comes from the lead protagonist, 13, who sounds like he's either bored out of his brains or just woke up from a 7-year coma.
Well then, who am I?
Since this is a high-stakes espionage plot, you'd expect the vocal direction to be just as serious. But with 13 and another key figure called General Carrington, who's voiced by Adam West by the way, they come across a touch too campy for my tastes. I still love Adam West's voice, he's just not the most appropriate for this particular role.
No one can stop me from conducting my own investigation, you hear me, Amos?
If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and press all on the bell notifications. The more subscriptions we get from viewers like yourself, the more we can grow, and the more content we can deliver straight to your YouTube homepage. Thanks for your support. I wish there were extra character building scenes from the overall cast as well. Since it's very much go 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 action from point A, point B to C, and so on throughout the adventure, these characters aren't granted the necessary time and space to breathe and flesh out their personalities in between set pieces. One aspect that does have a higher level of care though is the game's art style. Character models resonate that classic, cel-shaded look, environments are well varied and easy on the eye, and 13's dynamic comic strip panels provide some nifty visual flair. The panel designs aren't just for show either. Headshots display a 3-frame window to confirm a kill. A tap font will increase in size when 13 stealthily approaches enemies, and from time to time, the strips will also clue you in as to where oncoming enemies are approaching from. There's even more comic book flourishes like this that help serve the gameplay just as much as they immerse you into the world of 13. They're all excellent examples of art illustrating conveyance in video games. The same can't be said for the level design itself though, as I did find myself getting lost on several occasions. It's often unclear where to go next, and when you combine that with 13's frustrating checkpoint system, there's cause for concern. One of the earlier missions involves searching for 4 generators in a military base without being seen. The problem is, if one of the guards does spot you, usually those in the distance, they'll sound the alarm and force you to restart from the last checkpoint. This one mission in particular, I had to retry about 5 or 6 times, probably fumbling around for an hour or so that honestly should have only taken about 5 minutes. But I just found it so irritating how one lone soldier from 50 meters away could completely botch the whole attempt, with barely any sense of agency from the player's end. This is the #1 recipe for broken controllers. On a more positive note, the gameplay does serve up some really cool moments. Whether it be hookshotting up or down out of reach places, Mission Impossible style, or 13 taking someone hostage to escape being overwhelmed by the cops. The core game design strives to keep things fresh and exciting throughout the 9 hours or so campaign. 13 can also wield a variety of different weapons at his disposal, from shotguns to AK-47s, RPGs, and more, each having their own alt-fire too. The guns aren't particularly well balanced though, so you'll likely find a favorite firearm to use and stick with it a majority of the time. Thankfully, the aiming is clean and responsive, being easy to pick up and play. The AK-47 is the big standout for its damage potential and grenade alt fire, whilst the rest normally just result in a melee attack or a zoom scope for snipers as their secondary option. Combat is fast and intense, and the AI does put up a fierce fight, especially on the harder difficulties. You'll be taken down stat if you're not careful, hence stealth is most definitely a valid strategy. And it's routinely encouraged too. With various types of objects you can smash over enemies' heads, the ability to dispatch unaware threats from behind, or to sneak through vents to avoid conflict full stop. There's a whole array of things you can test out and combine to great effect as well. In terms of the actual shooting itself, it's your standard FPS affair, and that's the thing, 13 doesn't bring much to the table in terms of new FPS styles. It's rather a generic shooter, tagging along with those other gameplay features I mentioned before. So don't jump into this title expecting a revolutionary type of experience. You'll just be left frustrated with its lack of innovation. Do expect the music to be of a jazzy 007 vibe though, fitting the tone and setting of 13 to a T. I also love how the music ramps up in tandem with the on-screen action like its contemporaries, maintaining that level of intensity. 13 very much feels like a game that's a little rough around the edges, though it definitely has a certain charm to it, especially in the presentation. Those comic strip style elements are still quite unique, and they serve as excellent visual indicators for the player, really bursting out of the screen. The FPS mechanics won't be winning any awards for creativity, but its compelling story, espionage gameplay, and awesome music make for an enticing 9 hours of entertainment. Guys, if you enjoyed this vid, click that like button down below. And as always, if you haven't yet done so, press subscribe and the bell icon next to it so you won't miss an upload. For more on 13, visit thebetanetwork.net on Tuesday for our podcast, episode 44, where the team will dive even further into 13. We're on all your favorite podcast sites, so check all those links out in the description. See you guys in the next video.